Hi, I'm Garnbreak1, and this is Midgardia's cool crowdfunding show. I'm here today with James Armstrong. How's it going?
Pretty good. How about you?
I'm doing pretty well. So, you're here to tell us about GeneFunk 2090's second supplement book, Dark Forest. Why don't you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, so this is the second setting book that I have after Shadows of Korea, and I have this one more to explore the biopunk aspect of Gene Funk, just because those have been present in the previous two books. I really wanted to make that a central theme of the setting. So they're going into a bioengineered jungle in a remote Peruvian valley, with inspirations from King Kong's Skull Island, Jurassic Park, movies like Annihilation or Color Out of Space. So some body horror mixed in there and jungle adventure.
Right on, right on. So you got, abandoned temples, giant skulls of things like glowing green water, all that fun stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. I wanted to do a little bit of a different take on the abandoned ruins. So rather than having ancient ruins, it's more, you've probably heard of those cities that have been built in China that are often largely unoccupied.
Yeah.
Well, I wanted to have a similar idea happen in Peru, and then before it got fully occupied, the jungle just took it over. So they wanted to urbanize that area, but Gentera Corporation's wild bioengineered jungle was on its fringes, and they're just it was one of those lost investments. And before it was fully inhabited, the jungle took it over. So it's almost like a post-apocalyptic modern city that has been swallowed up by nature again and transgenic flora and fauna.
Nice. So you got like the kind of quick build, sort of shoddy when it was originally made kind of buildings now overrun by jungle, even more dangerous than they used to be.
That's right. And some of those, well, at least one area in that abandoned city is a bank vault that had its security fully implemented. So there's a possibility for wealth there if the players want to brave the bank security.
The
There's
the
gold.
classic.
Yeah.
It's like some Army of the Dead kind of stuff going on there.
It is that is yeah, it's similar. Yep. Yeah.
uh I see that you're also adding a new genome type. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
That's only if there is a new genome type. It's actually a class archetype, the Pishtako is maybe what you're speaking about.
Yes, sorry.
It is kind of like a genome because this is a result of a disease engineered by Gentera Corporation that you get these things called sarcosis in your body, which are infectious, and they cause this horrible disease that erodes some of the flesh around your mouth, making you less gape limited, so you can really open up your mouth large. It makes you crave raw flesh, and you get a tapetum lucidum, which so you can see in the dark and have those glowing eyes. And I really wanted to incorporate some horror in there, as well as one of my favorite mechanics from an old video game I played on Game Boy, one of the early Final Fantasies, where there was a class slash race called Monster, and they got their powers from eating things. And instead of putting on equipment or leveling up, they just ate different stuff and got some traits from the thing that they ate. So I like the idea of incorporating a power advancement mechanic that incentivizes the players consuming as many of these horrible transgenic monsters in the jungle as they can. So they're kind of like a hunter of flesh.
That's horrifying. Uh
Yeah,
Once again, we've got flesh eating people.
we
Army of
do.
the
Yeah,
Dead. Yeah.
and they do not need to eat, like intelligent things to get this. It could be dinosaurs, but they would also get, some powers from eating intelligent things as well.
Yeah, like
That's
yeah,
their choice.
just eat a dinosaur. Yeah, we sometimes you get a craving, you just want a nice T-Rex wing. We've all been there.
Yeah, for sure.
That's rad. Um, can you tell me a bit about the factions involved in this supplement?
Yeah, you bet. So on the criminal side, there's Sendero Justo, and they're narco terrorists. They are mostly drug manufacturers and distributors, but they do have an idealistic vision. They want to install their brand of Marxist government in Peru and beyond. But of course, like real life, many of these things use the illicit drug trade to fund their operations, and that's exactly what they are doing. So while there are some true believers and altruists and idealists in this movement, it is ultimately driven by drug money and hostage taking and things like that. So they are the most powerful criminal faction in the area, the biggest organized crime, and they operate inside this dark forest, the Jungle Valley, working in tandem with another faction, Gentera, and they are the corporate biotech research company that wants to pursue illegal biotech research that would maybe get them in hot water if performed more publicly, but under the canopy of this transgenic forest where satellite and drone footage can't access, and it's just way too hard to get to unless you go by foot. They're able to pull some very rank, very unethical biotech experiments, all in the name of, well, in the name of profit. But for some of those involved, science. There's
Excellent.
mixed motives of everyone involved there.
Yeah. And like you don't typically think of a jungle as like the environment for, cyberpunk, biopunk kind of adventures, but like the way you've laid this out with the narco terrorists and the Gentera Corporation and all that kind of stuff, like it absolutely works for that sort of genre.
Yeah, especially with the biotech elements for sure.
Yeah, like horrible, unethical corp experiments, gives you a good reason to go bushwhacking.
Yep, yep. And one of the things that's one of the other factions is the government side, who's none too happy with these narco terrorists who want to displace the current government, and that is the Narcotics Trafficking Council. So it's basically like the Peru's version or Unisur's version of the DEA. They're highly funded, but they have been thus far unable to penetrate dark forest. They keep it from growing too far at the edges using a mixture of herbicides and controlled burns. But they will certainly present a lot of contract money to any opportunistic mercs wanting to go inside the jungle and disrupt either Gentera operations or Sendero Justo operations.
It's kind of wild that they're tasked both with dealing with the spread of the physical forest as well as the like drug trade within it. I like that.
Yeah, yeah, and of course the player characters are free to ally with any or all or some of the corporations gel together more than others, but who they choose to work with and for is up to them.
Hey, everybody's got, euro dollars or new yen or what have you.
Exactly. And then some of the smaller factions are kind of mixtures between various types of bandits who plunder and rob the massive amount of wealth pouring out of and going into dark forests. So with all that drug money, there's bandits of bandits. So, there's the illegal drug trade, but they're vulnerable to other criminals.
Yeah, the classic problem of like who are they gonna call? The cops? Like
Yeah. If you've seen The Wire, there's a character called Marlowe, a bit like that, who would mostly hold up drug dealers.
I mean, hey, that's it's not a good idea, but yeah, it's an idea.
Yeah, yeah, they got some money. Where there's money, there will be people trying to take that money.
Yep. I like the hex map for the jungle as well. Get some cyberpunk hex crawling in there.
Oh yeah, that's from Miska Fredman, who's really good at making maps. He's gotten so much better since he was always good, but he just keeps getting better and better.
Yeah, no, it's sweet. It's evocative. Like the river looks real, you can see the three tributary streams coming off the edge of that canyon wall, I think.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
right. Yep, it's enclosed into some steep mountains. Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's cool. Although 4 kilometer hexes are, I think, the smallest hexes I've seen for one of these, outside of like Mouse Ritter.
Yeah. Yep.
But I
It's
mean,
I was looking up how basically people who do those ultra marathons through the jungle, the kind of pace that they have, and then cut that in half as a realistic travel pace because I mean they're professional athletes doing some bushwhacking. Well, as good as the cadre is, this isn't even a regular jungle. It's even thicker than most jungles. So I wanted to have yeah. have a reasonable amount of area to explore.
Yeah, and you're not trying to book it as fast as you can. You're trying not to get blown up by, can grenades and stuff.
Oh yeah, and the jungle is also filled with horrible. The main thing that's keeping people out of it, in addition to all the dangerous, transgenic beasts, dinos, and other things, is there's a horrible panoply of mutagenic viruses that will take pieces from one organism and put it into another organism, basically as the scientific equivalent of putting stuff in a jar and shaking it up and seeing what happens. That's what TerraCorp has put inside of this jungle valley. So some areas are just filled with this virus, or a whole family of viruses that take bits from one thing and put it in the other thing, including the player characters, unless they are using very expensive antiviral drugs.
You got like trees with scorpion stingers and stuff.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Yep.
Have you ever read the book Cryptonomicon by Neil Stephenson?
I've read a bunch of Neil Stephenson, but no, I haven't read that one.
You should. It's incredibly long and very dense. But they have an excellent jungle travel section talking about how misleading distance seems. Um,
Oh yeah, yep.
yeah, that's what I
Cool.
was thinking about with the hexes here. So they're like, 10 miles in Washington State, nothing. 10 miles in a jungle, that is days.
Oh yeah, yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
You have to factor in what they call the pucker factor.
yeah. Changing elevations and
Yeah,
disorientation and slippery. Yeah,
weird venomous crap everywhere. Yeah,
yeah, exactly. Yeah, swamps and quagmires.
it's a good book. I recommend it to everybody. Um,
I'll check it out. I'll check it out for sure.
excellent, excellent. Um, yeah, the art is wonderful. By the way, do you want to talk a little bit about the artists that you've got on board this time around?
Sure. The main artist they have is Dean Spencer, and he's another person who just gets better. I'm so glad that I got on board early with some of these great artists, because they keep getting better and better, and I'm so glad to have them. But yeah, Dean Spencer's one of them. Another one of the artists is William Liberto. He's also from a previous book. Miska Fredman does the maps mostly. There's a couple of other map makers I have as well. And there's probably about a dozen other artists, but I mostly just looked for ones that had similar enough style that they would blend with each other. Yeah, those are the main artists.
Right on. And once again, the cover is beautiful.
Yeah, yeah, I'm pretty happy with that cover. The name of that artist slips me right now. I'll just give it a yeah, but I'll think of it soon.
Alright, yeah, like that is you see that on the shelf and you need to pick that up and look at what the heck is up with this.
Yeah, yeah.
Are there any other aspects that we haven't touched on that you'd like to, touch on?
Uh, let's see. So we've gone over the some of the factions. Oh yeah, I guess there's the different archetypes. So the Pishtako is one of the class archetypes. Some of the other ones is I wanted to have the suit archetype being very similar to the Indiana Jones style character or Tomb Raider. So, they're both academic, kind of highfalutin people in high society when they're in their regular life, but when they go into the jungle, they become a different sort of breed. So that's what I have for inspiration for the suit archetype, the Raider, going into the jungle, trying to get lost or stolen wealth and bring it back for themselves or someone they work for. And another one of the archetypes I got is the samurai genjutsu. So genjutsu, if you're a fan of Naruto or other anime, you may already know what that means. That's a type of art concerned with illusion and deception. So they use mind hacking on those around them to disguise themselves, turn invisible, or cause immense fear in people. And the gunfighter, the natural fit is I don't have any ranger type because it didn't make sense until
Yeah.
this book. So the gunfighter's archetype is the hunter, who, in addition to being good at guns and getting some bonuses against beasts and animals, they also have some expertise in the stealth tactics, ambushes, and get bonuses with lassos, nets, and snares.
Excellent.
Because there is big money to be made in just like there's poaching in real life, there's even more top dollar for trophy hunting in these the megafauna in this transgenic jungle, because you get some good street cred if you can take down one of those beasties and bring it back to your own little mansion. People are paying top dollar.
If you need a guy to hog tie something with 7 legs, I'm your Huckleberry. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
I'm just looking at
Eh,
the stretch goals list right now, and I see at 50,000 there is the ROUS contract. As an Albertan, I have an inherent inborn hatred of rats. My province is rat free. I'm gonna keep it
That's
that way.
I always wondered, how do they are there interprovincial like border checks for rats or something?
They straight up like monitor sections of the border with infrared cameras. There is a rat patrol hotline you can call. They will stake out areas if there has been rat sightings and like dynamite the nest if necessary. That's what happened in Calgary a few years back. Like there was a
Wow.
rodent infestation at a landfill. They like
Yeah.
yeah, infrared surveillance for a few days, figured out where they were nesting, couldn't really deal with it any other way, so they just dynamited it. And it's yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, you can't have pet rats here. I think we have rats in like some of
Oh, I
the
didn't know
zoos.
that. Yeah,
Yeah,
no pet rats even. Wow.
yeah, because of the risk of them escaping, right?
Right?
That was a big deal when Ratatouille came out. They actually put out like public service
Right.
announcements being like, "You can't buy your kids rats."
I would I hear they make amazing pets, but on the other hand, I would be so sad because I think at most they live like 2 or 3 years, and
Yeah,
that is just that's too quick of a tragedy for a pet you grow attached to, I think, for me.
yeah, they're they're cute, but there are certainly disadvantages to them. And yeah, if you get a chance, look up some of the anti-rat propaganda from like the 50s and 60s. It is premium stuff.
I will.
Anyway, there's your
Yeah,
Albertan
Jake.
trivia fact for the day. No rats.
Nice. Nice.
Hey, yeah, so when this video goes up, there'll be 5 days left on the campaign. It is
Mhm.
already funded. It's like
Yeah.
halfway to the rodents of unusual size. Viewers, you could make that happen. Kill the
Is
rat.
it is definitely within striking distance for sure, because the big surges are usually at the beginning of the end of a Kickstarter. So it is possible to get that unlocked for sure.
They're a danger to home health and industry.
Yeah, for sure. And a competition to the beaver for a prime rodent in Canada.
Yeah, Alberta is also home to the largest beaver dam in the world.
Ooh,
Can't really go see it because it's like way out in the forest, but
yeah.
it's there. Anyway, yes, there are a lot of lovely things in this book. If you have a cyberpunk campaign and you're looking for a shake up of scenery, even if it's not GeneFunk, which it's fine. Yeah, I rip ideas from things all the time. You can send them to a horrible jungle where they can fight trees that may have scorpion tails. I don't think that's actually in the book yet. But I'm gonna keep
So
saying
it's
it.
similar.
Yeah,
Yeah.
similar things.
And
And
oh, and
then sorry.
also there is and this is an expanded genetic enhancement table. So one of the big things that a lot of the people liked from the first book was the amount of genetic enhancement you could get. So I expanded that to include about 20 more. So there's almost 70 different genetic enhancements for all of your bioengineered character needs.
Nice. Get juiced up with all kinds of weird, freaky stuff, and then get eaten by a fish taco. What more could you want?
Exactly.
Also, I love the ape dude with the cyber arm and the giant pistol. That's gnarly.
Oh yeah, that piece turned out so well. Yeah, some of that stuff is he's a great artist. Yeah.
Yeah. Uh, yeah. Anything else you'd like to talk about while we're here?
I'm trying to think without getting too much into the weeds. I think I've covered all the major bases, and I think anything else I'd say would be too specific. So
All
I
right.
think that mostly covers it.
Well, there's a link to this below. I believe there are also reprints of the other two books as part of this Kickstarter. So if you want to get those
That's
in
right.
physical, yeah,
Get all three.
get all three. The Holy Trinity. Yes.
Hmm.
Uh, yeah, do that. It's cool stuff. I've we actually had a session of GeneFunk 2090 run by James Armstrong himself a while back, which was a ton of
That's
fun.
right.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's right. That was before the first one was even released.
yeah. That one had a sexy fish man. The fishmen in this are a little bit less alluring, but
That's right. Oh, I guess one other thing I want to mention is that just recently, it's not fully completed yet. There's still one more pass of some troubleshooting for the glitches, but it's the compendium for GeneFunk is now on Rule 20.
oh, nice.
So it's got drag and drop functionality, and within a month or two, I'll have Shadows of Korea up there as a module available for purchase with fully datted out NPCs and tokens.
Oh, that's huge, man. That's
Yeah,
awesome. Yeah. I I love that they've opened that up to third party creators more. Like, 'cause
yeah,
I love this kind of thing. I love weird third party content for our Lord and Savior 5th edition, the only game anyone will play with me.
that's right. Yeah.
And these kinds of things make it a lot easier. But
Mhm.
yes, if you they there are links below. They're in the top comment. Go check them out. Check out our session of Gene Funk that we played a while back. Check out this Kickstarter, back this Kickstarter, and then get bitten by horrible, like, genetically altered mosquitoes carrying horrific mutagenic viruses that make you grow, like, I don't know, teeth at the end of your fingers.
That's a thing.
Good. All right. Good night, everybody.
Night.